What if someone told you that the power to change the happenings around you lies in you and has always been central to you? We often fear the adverse outcomes without knowing the reality of where they stem from. There is no power but the power of mind that makes us the most powerful and influential or the most miserable. We aren't entirely at the mercy of God, who controls everything, but we have our own power, and we are always capable of doing whatever we want to do. The only limit is our minds. Neville Goddard says if we learn to control our minds, we can control everything. But what does it take to control the mind? It's what we are going to discuss here in this video. Before we begin, give a thumbs up to this video, click the subscribe button, and press the bell icon. It's free. Let's now get started with Neville Goddard's beautiful quote. The mind is a powerful force. It can plunge us into the depths of misery or take us to the heights of ecstasy. Learn to use the power wisely. Have you ever thought about what force operates in this world or this universe? Who or what causes these things to happen? What comes to most people's minds is the idea of God. If God controls everything and operates the universe, who is God and what makes him God? Let me tell you that it's our mind and imagination that make a God be a God. What we say, do, or believe manifests itself around us. Man's toughest challenge is realizing his own power and potential. We are divine beings with great power. We are masters of our fate, but unfortunately, only a few of us understand the true meaning of this. We have the power, and if we believe there is some other power controlling us, then it creates a dispute. It is a concept of dual mind or dual powers. The concept has destroyed man's perception of himself and everything that surrounds him. The mind is one universal unit, and all of us are centers of intelligence that think things into action. This is a universal law. The world is a reflection of the thoughts we are carrying in our minds, so that's why we're all controlling everything and causing things to happen. If we hand over this control to some external entity or start believing that there is some other power controlling everything, then this belief causes us to be powerless, fearful, and cowardly. That's why Neville Goddard's teachings make you brave, strong, powerful, and confident. You see, when you believe more in some external power than you do in yourself, you do nothing. You lose your power and wait for some magic to happen to help you get what you want. We think of the mind as having only limitations, and perhaps this is the major problem. Neville Goddard says that all the limitations are self-imposed, because when we can't think of doing something, we can never do it. So first, we need to learn to think limitlessly because our thoughts have the potential to create. When you impose restrictions on your thoughts, you impose limits on yourself. The mind is all-knowing and all-seeing. It does not seek to dissect or analyze, but only knows what is given to it. All of our affairs are produced by our thoughts working through this one, or whatever name we choose for it. The idea that something outside of ourselves determines everything is simply our subconscious controlling the mind's functioning. In saying that whatever happens to us or around us is a result of our thoughts, we aren't putting ourselves at the mercy of some God outside of us other than our thoughts and beliefs. All the sorrows and joys that we experience in our lives are the creations of our thoughts. Everything we see, from the smallest particle to the most gigantic mountains, is a product of our own minds. When we believe that something exists, our mind has no choice but to believe what we are claiming. Our mind doesn't resist, it just listens to our thoughts, and that's because our mind doesn't see itself as a power separate from us. Whether we see this universal, infinite power as the mind, God, or any other force, it is only one. Since it is one unit, we cannot be separate from it as it has to operate through us. Man must realize that everything that has been created, including himself, is divine, and that he must share this divinity. Why do we perceive ourselves as being restricted even if we see abundance in the world around us and in the power that created it all? We will continue to manifest a life full of sorrows and undesirable things unless we first understand the immense resources and power that we have inside us. When we know that we are at the center of all this divine activity, we come to the realization that choosing to live in a state of positive vibrational freedom has always been our decision. When we believe that our only limit is our mind, we are implying that our mind is operated by our thoughts. This means that our thoughts become our reality. So by thinking certain thoughts, we can direct our minds and change our reality and circumstances in the physical world. Let me tell you that the power of thoughts to manifest anything and everything into reality is as strong as God's plan for creating this world. The mind doesn't recognize any label of good or bad, negative or positive. It just creates what becomes known to it. This is known as the universal law of manifestation that Neville Goddard explained in his teachings. The nature of this law demands that we change our thoughts if we truly want to manifest a new life. Things will automatically start with a shift in the pattern of our thoughts. We don't create things, but with positive thinking, things come into existence. Our belief in a great power or divine source means that it is always available to us, only waiting for us to acknowledge it and use it. What we believe happens to us as soon as we put our thoughts into the universe. The limitations of a mind that is otherwise infinite in its creation will be imposed on the individual who is unaware of this law for all time. We have always had the option of eliminating all unfavorable thoughts that we would like to prevent from manifesting and adhering to those that we would desire to see. Neville Goddard says, "It is your wonderful imagination that is God. Everything in this universe is simply a projection of our own consciousness. Our greatest mistake is refusing to acknowledge the fact that we already are who we want to be and that we already have what we want to have. The ability to assume a reality and believe in its existence is a force that is so powerful that it cannot be stopped from becoming a fact. All we have to do is recognize and affirm our desires before giving them to ourselves. Every single aspect of our lives is a result of the thoughts that we hold in our minds. Our outer world is a reflection of whether we believe in a reality that is abundant and whole or scarce and limited. Our ideas of success, money, death, disease, etc. all form the beliefs that dictate our lives. We have to recognize that our consciousness is the only reality. When we understand this, we realize the power to change our thoughts. If you understand this concept, you will realize that everything around you has always been a choice. You were able to make a change every time, but you had imposed limits on yourself. Even if you are living a life full of undesirable circumstances, you are free to get out of it and live a life that has everything you desire. This law can never be interfered with or contradicted by an outside force, since to do so would suggest that the divine power that is working through each of us individually is not a complete entity. We will become free once we have eliminated every concept and belief we hold that keeps us from this reality. If God exists, He has given us power and will never interfere with us. We aren't separate from God. We are part of God, and what we do is the will of God. As soon as we accept this truth, it starts impacting our lives in a positive way. There is no external power at play but our own word, which is the very way of life. We have already been bestowed with all the power to experience everything we wish for with the words we think, hear, and speak. Then the reality is not something that is manipulated by an outside force, but is only a matter of the universe and the mind and mental correspondence. Life has no meaning of its own. It is neither good nor bad. For some people, life is full of joys, but for others, it is full of sorrows. But in fact, life is what we make of it. If we believe life is beautiful, it will become beautiful. Our own thoughts create our life and determine our circumstances of it. Knowing this fact would enable one to stop viewing life as a source of anxiety and suffering. We are trained to view life through a distorted, one-dimensional perspective by the world's religions and philosophical systems. But life itself is nothing more than the manifestation of the same divinity that created it. The illusion that anything is outside of our control will vanish as soon as we learn to trust ourselves and understand the power and potential of our thoughts to create our reality. The power of your mind is not just restricted to your daily meditation or personal development. Every thought and statement we make sets the course of our lives, which is a meditation in itself. The greatest power ever known is the ability to see the divinity present in everything and to perceive the universe as a single, unified whole. God and we are one. It means God operates through us. He isn't separated from us. So being a God, nothing is impossible for us. All the things that we can think of are possible to achieve. All the sufferings and all the joys are the results of our own thoughts and beliefs. All the limits that have been imposed on us. Let me tell you that nobody is stopping you from doing what you want to do. You are free. You are limitless. You were born free. You were born limitless. But as you grew older, you adopted some thoughts and beliefs, and they have defined your limits. So know what you have to do is very simple. Just identify the limits, vanquish them, and be free. You have got all the resources. You have everything that others have. We as human beings have an impact on all the things and all the human beings in the universe. The existence of this universe is due to you because you can observe it, feel it, and are part of it. If you don't exist, nothing exists. Even the whole universe is meaningless. So what I'm saying is that you have to know your worth. The universe is you. It lies in you. It operates through you. You control it, and whatever circumstances you want to create, you can. But you have to remember that all the power resides in your mind, and to make use of that power, you have to unlock the full potential of your mind. You have got the ability to dominate all the external conditions and stay at the top. When you unlock your potential and recognize the fact that God operates through you, it sets you free, and you become a magnet for all the good things. You have to believe this, and your external reality must reflect this belief. If you think you are the creator in God, your behavior and attitude must reflect this. Recognize the universe as a homogeneous and unified entity and yourself as its operator. Realizing this fact is the greatest power you can ever know. I hope I was able to deliver a good analysis of this quote by Neville Goddard. And of course, this doesn't mean we agree with every single thing he said or believed in, because in the end, everyone will form his or her own opinion, and that is why we are analyzing and discussing his ideas and methods to fully understand his approach and general ideas, as he was a great teacher and inspired millions of people around the world. If you want to share your opinion, comment down below this video. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to it and press the bell icon for more interesting, informative, and helpful videos on manifestation. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.